Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right, we are live with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have with us Ted Thomas. Ted is considered by most as America's tax lien certificate and tax lien authority. I am super excited to have Ted here. Ted, thank you very much for showing up. How are you?
Well, thank you for the invitation. A nice introduction, and I better be good after that, right?
Yeah, man, I'm giving you a part of it.
Yeah. So,
awesome. Well,
so where would you like to start?
As we always
a bunch of questions
on the club, we always start at the beginning. So I like to hear stories. So take us back. You and I were talking before we got on. You have 30 years of experience, which is like, you got a lot of places to go. So take us to the beginning. How'd you get started in real estate?
Okay, good. Okay, well, my first career was as a pilot, and I flew for Aloha Airlines, and I was a flight examiner for many years, and then I got into real estate, fell in love with that. I'm an old timer, so I built a big real estate business in San Francisco, and I lived in California, and that was very good. When the markets evaporated and went away, crashed, well, I crashed right along with it, so I went all the way to the bottom and start over again. And I decided to get out of the risk business. I didn't want to be in risk business anymore. Yeah, it's great to have entrepreneurial blood, but you take a lot of risks you got to be careful. So I built a company up to 200 people and well over 200 million. And after the whole thing collapsed, I decided to get into the no risk business. So I got involved with tax lien certificates and tax defaulted property. And that's the kind of thing that entrepreneurs like, because they buy property for 10 and 20 cents on the dollar in about half the states. And then the other half of the states sell what's called a tax lien certificate. Now, the old folks with gray hair, they love those, because tax lien certificates pay guaranteed rates of 16, 18, 24, up to 36% interest on a tax certificate. And the B of A and the Wells Fargo Bank are paying 1% or less. So I got into a tremendous business, a lot of fun. I've been at it. I still teach. I still do it. I did 9 properties last year, and I can just about answer about any question you want about tax liens and deeds.
Awesome. No, so I'm really excited to have this conversation because, I mentioned before the show, I don't know anything I know very little about this. So I'm excited to jump in.
Well, you're part of the 99%. Very few people do it. This is a business that's been around for 200 years. So let me give you a quick background. You're in Washington. Who knows where the clients are? They could be in Singapore or Japan or wherever. But in Washington State, they sell what's called a tax deed, a tax defaulted property. So you live there in Pierce County or Snohomish County or one of those near Seattle. And what happens is if people don't pay their tax, local government has a real problem when they don't pay tax because the government pays for the police, the fire department, the hospital, the roads, and so on. And of course, all the schools with property tax. So if people don't pay their property tax, which is always the first tax is the property tax. So if they don't pay that, then the local government has a problem. So they'll send you a notice and they'll slap your hand and say, look, slap you on the hand, say, look, you got to pay this tax so many days, or they will confiscate. That means you forfeit your property. And so that happens all the time. Seattle will run anywhere from 200 to 500 of those every year, just in Snohomish County. If you go over to Pierce County, it'll be an equal number. If you go up to go to any one of the counties, you'll find that there's lots of tax. There's 5,000 tax auctions a year. So that's tax defaulted property. The other side is there's properties that the states that don't, they're not so tough as say Washington, Oregon, or California. They're more benevolent, let's say. So let's take a place like Florida, or take a place like Texas or Illinois, one of those. Those states actually sell a tax lien certificate. And that means that people didn't pay their tax, but you and I can go in and pay their tax. Now, you're in Seattle, so you're saying, I'm not going to go to Florida. You don't have to. We can do this all online nowadays. So anyway, you can buy that certificate, and here in Florida, they pay up to 18%. In Illinois, they pay up to 36%. Iowa pays 24%. So this is an investment vehicle, and it works. And the beautiful part of it is that you don't get into the risk business. And that's the business I don't want to be in. So I teach people, and I've been teaching people I've been doing it for 30 years, and I've been teaching it for 25 years on to stay out of the risk business and buy investments that are either going to have fixed rates of return like tax lien certificates, or buy at the tax defaulted auction. Now, tax defaulted auctions, I personally have bought in Seattle for 10 and 15 cents on the dollar and then resold it. Now, that's a market, as you know, much more than I do, but over the past 3 or 4 years, not seven, past 3 or 4 years, that market's gone up like 25% every year, according to my attorney. Now, I'm not an expert on what values are, but so you can buy these properties at rock bottom dollar, and when you buy a tax lien certificate or you buy a tax defaulted property, the auction itself wipes out the mortgage. So anything that we buy mortgage free. So that'll give you a little bit to kind of go on and kind of chew up a little bit, because I've been doing it for so long and teaching people so long that I became an expert 25 years ago, but the market changes. It gets better and better every single year. For example, this year in Florida, in a good market, South Florida is probably the hottest market in the country right now, but South Florida and all of Florida, for example, Florida's a big state. You won't realize how big it is. It's a big state. It's like third or fourth in the country now. But at any rate, the local governments issued 1 million tax lien certificates. That means 1 million property owners did not pay their property on taxes on time, and they issued the certificate. You can buy any one of those. All it takes to qualify is money. So I teach this same class that we're discussing right now. I teach it in Singapore. I teach it in Sydney and Melbourne, Australia. I teach it in the United Kingdom. And I have literally hundreds of clients from the Canadian provinces. I mean, they come down from Alberta, and they're here from British Columbia. And later today, I do a call actually in Kamloops, British Columbia, which is about 4 hours north of Vancouver. So I have clients all over the world that do this because we can do it online. I actually teach the class sometimes in Mexico City. It's amazing. So there you go. So that's an interesting thing for anybody that's getting involved in real estate. It's another part of it that's safe and secure.
Yeah. So, I mean, you piqued my interest. So but I don't quite understand how it works. So I'm going to walk through an example and kind of correct me when I go wrong here. So let's say, well, first of all, it sounds like there's two different types. There's tax default and then tax lien certificates. Tax default, the difference is that you can buy the mortgage. What's the difference between the two again?
Okay, the difference is the state that sells tax deeds, what they basically do is you don't pay your property tax. So they give you a notice. That's called due process. They give you a notice. And then if you don't pay it, what they'll do is the government will take action, and they'll cause you to forfeit the property, and they'll actually move you out of the property. The government doesn't want any more property. They get too much property now. They don't want any property. So what they will do is then at least once a year in a place like, let's say you're in Pierce County or Snohomish County, they will have at least one auction every year. And they will auction those properties. Now, when they auction them, they're not auctioning them for a profit. They're auctioning them to collect the back taxes. So let's say the back taxes in your house was $17,000. Well,
Real
then
quick though,
starting bid is probably going to be close.
why aren't these properties going to foreclosure? That's my question. Is why?
Well, that is a tax default is a foreclosure, but we don't talk foreclosure. Actually, now that you said that, in the state of Washington is the only state that calls it a foreclosure. You keyed my mind back to that when you said that, but it's actually a tax default. And if you go read the paper, the legal paper, it'll call it a foreclosure. But in Washington State, they do call it a foreclosure. But it's not a mortgage foreclosure. The mortgage has been wiped out by the auction.
Interesting. Okay. So this can happen. So Joe Smith over here, he stops paying his mortgage, and generally this goes into the foreclosure process. It starts the foreclosure process. So you can go in states that are not Washington. You can go and buy Are you buying the note, like the actual the balance?
No. You got to forget all that note stuff. Forget all that. This is the very first tax that there is real estate tax. It's before the IRS, it's before a mortgage, it's before anything. So that tax is due to the government. So if you buy a tax lien certificate, you just bought the government's lien on the property. If you buy a tax defaulted property, the government has already gone out and the property owner forfeited their property, and the government now owns the property. So if you're living in Snohomish County and you did pay your tax, the Snohomish County will have foreclosed, to use your words, foreclosed on the property. They now own it. When my people go to the auction, they will be buying it directly from Snohomish County. There will be no mortgage on it. It will have been wiped out. The local government has the power to wipe out any mortgage or any lien. Okay.
I think
the local government wipes out.
Yeah, that's the piece that I was missing. So I didn't understand why didn't it go back into the possession of Bank of America? I mean, their first position on the note.
No, they've been long since wiped out. Now, the beauty of what you just said now, that you understand that, very few people understand the lien law, but you do. So all right, so Bank of America had a loan on it. And so Bank of America they had a security interest in that property. So they would have got due process telling them, look, this property is going to tax auction. Come in and pay the tax. Then the bank could come in and pay the tax. And then if you understand foreclosure law, then every mortgage has three covenants in it. The first covenant is that you pay it. The second one is that you'll pay the insurance. And the third one is you'll pay your tax. So then they have already paid the tax. Then they would foreclose because people didn't pay the tax. The bank then would foreclose. But everybody, for some reason, thinks banks are well run. Unfortunately, banks are given notice and they don't even show up.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So yes, so you mentioned auctions multiple times. I'm curious how. I mean, it sounds like a great investment path, especially given the interest rate that you were talking about. You're in if I remember right, the 20% plus of return.
Oh yeah. You can do it all online now. When I started, we used to have to drive to the county and buy it. But yeah, that was 30 years ago. Now, the internet, almost, as far as I know, every county's online now. So they will have online auctions, and you can buy. You can still go to the room in many cases. They'll conduct the online auction and the live auction at the same time. And so you can do both, but you don't have to move around. I mean, I have clients that live in overseas countries. They live in in British Columbia or Alberta in Canada, or they live in the United Kingdom, wherever. So you don't have to go there anymore. You can do it all online. Everything can be done online.
Gotcha. So once you buy this tax lien, you do not own the property, correct? You just own or do you own the property? It's just like foreclosure.
Okay. So your question was tax lien. When you buy tax lien, you just buy a piece of paper. By a piece of paper, which is the government's lien on the property. And the homeowner, the property owner, is allowed to come in and buy that piece of paper back. But or in Georgia, for example, if they wanted to buy it back, they'd have to give you back all your money plus a 20% return. If they were in Texas, they'd have to give you back all your money plus a 25% return. So you don't get the property. However, you are guaranteed when you buy a tax lien certificate, if they don't pay you, you will get the property without a mortgage. So it's almost a risk-free. I don't think you could say in the world anything is risk-free, but it's a safe haven. You can buy tax lien certificates, and 97, 98% of them will pay you within 2 years. And what you do actually is only buy in the country club. That way, if the people don't pay, you get a country club house, and all you did is pay the taxes, which is a great deal. I have clients that have bought houses for $300. I have other clients that have bought them for 11,000. Houses worth 200,000. Because the people forget. It's hard to believe, but depending upon how old you are, people forget they own property in places they don't pay the tax, or they live in Michigan, for example, and they come to Florida in the winter. They buy a house because the real estate prices are low here. Then they forget to pay the taxes, and they lose the house to tax. Same thing in Florida. People go to Michigan because they want to be cool in the summer, and they forget what they bought. But it's amazing that it happens every day. I
believe it. I've missed payments on properties just because I was focused on other things. I was like, shit, I completely forgot to do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing.
That makes complete sense.
So we just track all those auctions and teach people how to do it. We've been doing that for 25 long years. Yeah, it's great, but it just gets better every year. Every single year, it's better.
Yeah. It sounds like a great investment tool, especially when you can get these properties. If people decide not to pay their taxes and you get the property at the end, that would be quite a cherry on the top, especially if you something like $300.
Yeah. I have actually got properties right where you live in Snohomish County, and the sales will take place. And I'm a contrarian when it comes to markets, so I know after all these years of doing it that if it's a big gorgeous house, everybody and their brother thinks you're going to get a big gorgeous house for 5 cents on the dollar. But that doesn't happen because there's people like you and I that someone will tell us and we'll go there and say, whoa, wait a minute, we buy that's a $500,000 house. I'll give a guy $100,000 for it in a minute, right? Yep. And so those houses get sold quickly. So what I do right where you are in your hometown, your home counties, is I buy residential lots, and there's lots of there's many of those lots, and less each year now because the housing crisis there in and around Seattle. The prices went up so much. What they did is they pull all the lots up too. But the average guy that's an investor, he's looking at a big fancy house. He's looking at an apartment property or whatever. And so I go contrary with the market. And if the auction has 10 residential lots, I'm looking at those lots. And I've had students that have bought them for $30,000 and sold them for $130,000. I've never done quite that well myself, but I bought plenty of them for $20,000 and sold them for $80,000. And so there's a lot. When you're in an up market, you can see the market up. It's easy to track the market. You could just, it's a no-brainer. Just go to Zillow and you can see it, or call a couple of real estate attorneys in town and say, "How's the market doing?" They can tell you by how busy they are, right? So the market is such that people just don't know what we're doing. Now, I don't mean in the sense that they're stupid. It's just that no one is. For example, if they have an auction in, let's see, the Pierce County, or I can't think of the county for Tacoma. What's that county in Tacoma?
Yep, Pierce County. Pierce County, then King County.
Is that Pierce? It is Pierce. Okay. Yep. All right. So Pierce County is going to have an auction. Okay. They don't even tell Snohomish County that there's an auction. They don't even tell anybody. They don't even put it. They put it in their own little paper, and that's it. So none of the other people move around and do this. So we track all the county. I can sit in my office and I have access to every property in the United States. Everyone. There's 100 million of them, in case you want to know. It's 100 million of them, and we can track all those auctions. So there's 3,000 counties and 1,400 municipalities. They're all jurisdictions that can sell property. They foreclose on it, as you say. We call it tax defaulted auction. Everywhere but Washington calls it a tax defaulted auction. I forgot they call it foreclosure where you are. But anyway, those auctions aren't publicized. For example, yesterday they had an auction in one of the counties in New York. It was only 100 miles from New York City, and they couldn't sell the property. Now, New York City is empty now. It's just people just pouring out of the city because of just of the COVID-19, and so they'll buy anything to get out of that town. So they could not sell all the properties. I don't make the rules. I just take advantage of them, honorably and ethically, of course. But you kind of get the idea. So it's a booming business, and anybody can do it. Cost of entry is whatever you pay for a property. That's it. Now, I tell people they ought to go out and learn how to do it, because don't make mistakes like I did a minute ago. I just called tax default and you didn't know what I was talking about, because they call it a foreclosure where you are. So there's all kinds of unique nomenclatures and things like that these counties do, and each county is a little fiefdom into itself. The rules in King County are different than the rules in Pierce County, and they're different than Los Angeles. They're all different. So,
I definitely believe that, especially when you consider permitting the differences between counties that are just right next to each other. It's like, come on, do you guys ever get together and talk?
No, they don't. They don't, and they're really provincial about it. Boy, you do it our way or else. It's really amazing. They publish them all. Fortunately, the rule of law was around for a long time, so they publish all that. So we just download it and know what they are before we start bidding at those auctions.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we have already blown through our 20-minute mark, so I got to push us into the quick question round. But I loved everything you've said so far. I'm going to give you at the end of this round right here, I'm going to give you a section to talk a little bit about your guys' business. So hold on that. Quick question round is super simple. I'm going to ask you quick questions. You give me quick responses, and it starts with books. I'm a big bookie, so I like to ask questions. What is your favorite real estate book and your favorite general life wisdom book?
Oh boy. My favorite real estate book would be just buy them all, so you get an education. But the best book that anybody can read about business is Perry Marshall's 80/20. Now let me walk in the other room and look in my library. I got bookcases full. Let me walk out of this office. I'm in the back of my house right now, so I'm just going to walk over there and see if I can get that right title, because you should get Perry Marshall's book. Yeah, here it is. Okay, it's called 80/20. It's a spectacular book. 80/20 Sales and Marketing. The author is a guy I used to be in masterminds with for years. His name is Perry, P-R-R-Y, Marshall. And that book has been Perry Marshall was the guy that wrote Google AdWords book. So this is a real brainiac. And don't ask me how I got in the mastermind with him, because I'm not a brainiac. But anyway, so the real estate books, I don't narrow it down to one. There's just too many. If you want apartments, buy apartment stuff. If you want tax lien and deed stuff, well, you got to go to tedthomas.com. I don't sell books anymore. My first book that I wrote was in '89. It was a bestseller. It was all about foreclosure, and stayed in the bookstore for 12 years. But I don't do books anymore. I only do found out a book is not enough. You need to get a guide, you need a coach, and you need to do the whole thing. So I actually teach people from A to Z, but we have coaches. I have every one of my coaches as a group have bought more tax deed properties than any other group in the world. Wow. So they buy them in all countries, all the counties in the United States. And we have classes every day in my office. We have group coaching every Wednesday night. We have coaches for a year. We have coaches for 6 months. You can learn everything you'll ever want about tax and deeds online, because we've taken it all and moved it that way. So I've learned the hard way that even though books could be bestsellers and everybody should write one and buy one, you need much more than that if you're not going to get your butt kicked. And I can tell you, I learned a lot more getting my butt kicked than I did just reading books. But you want to get professionals to teach you. What you're doing is you're doing the clients a huge favor here. They don't realize that, but they want to get in economically. Forget economically. Start spending some money and get your library built. See, I can just walk in another room. There's 4 bookcases full there. I throw a bookcase of them. I never have a week go by in my life that I don't buy 1 or 2 books. Never buy less than 1 or 2 books.
I like that philosophy.
Place to start. Yeah.
So moving on to the next question. This one is about habits. Habits is they're the foundation of our life. So if you could point to one habit in your own life that you feel has contributed the most to where you are today, what would that habit be?
It'd be easy. I get out of bed, I put my feet on the floor, and I say, if it's to be, it's up to me.
I like it. If it's to be, it's up to me. That is a good life motto. Moving on to the next one. This is a time for you to brag. So flex your muscles. What is your superpower? Man, I'm having a hard time saying that. What are you absolutely?
I'm very good at teaching people. I grew up in the airplanes from time 17 on. I was 24. I was a flight examiner, checking out commercial pilots and so on. So I loved flying and I loved teaching people to fly. I did that until I was in my 40s, and then from then on, I got into other business. Business is much more fun than anything. And so I'm very good at two things. One, it's teaching people to do things, and two, I know how to market my products all over the world.
Perfect. I love it. So now we're closing up. Last question is for the listeners. You've obviously given us a lot of wisdom about tax liens and how to get involved in that pretty exciting area there. So how can people get in contact with you? What's the best way for them to reach you?
The easiest thing to do is just go to tedthomas.com, and there'll be a bunch of videos there to watch. And then they'll have to, do something. And they'll have to get off the rusty desk to figure out what they want to do. Because we tell them a lot. We show them a lot on video. I'm a video guy. I forgot about our interview today. Otherwise, we'd be doing this on video from my office at my own studio and so on. But I forgot. My girl called me at the last week. She said, "Hey, you got an interview on this." Oh my God! So I'm sorry, I didn't have a video for you, but tedthomas.com is the easiest thing to do, and they'll kind of get people started. We're professionals, so we've got everything that would ever happen. We actually take people and hold their hand to an auction and tell them what to buy if they want. We'll do everything that they need to do it. I have students that run from 16 years old to, I just had a lady finish one of my class, that's just before COVID, and she was sitting in front of me. She was 92 years old. 4 weeks later, she bought her first property in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 92 years old.
That's great.
Wow. Yeah.
I love it. So that is tedthomas.com, tedthomas.com. And if you're listening and watching, click on Meet Ted and scroll to the middle of the page and check out his baller tie. That is, I love the tie that you got on there. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's tedthomas.com. Also, you can click on the little more in the description. It'll pop down the full description. And in there, I will put the URL for Ted Thomas. So check it out, you guys. There's a lot of wisdom there. And if you're interested in tax liens, that is a great place to get started. So Ted, again, thank you very much for hopping on. For everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. Again, you are the reason that we do this, so we appreciate having you here. The best way to support the show is just to subscribe, like, and share this episode with your friends and family. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Great week. Actually, we are on Tuesday, so great week. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bundle is, or the fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the Investors Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investors Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesalers Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.